Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maria. I am a yoga teacher. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to do fish pose or Matsyasana in 3 different ways. I will be showing you a few modifications that can help you get there or can help you learn to love this pose as well. Feel free to bring your mat if you're feeling it, but it's not needed. What we are going to need today is 2 blocks or a bolster, a pillow of some sort, something that can help lift you up from the ground. Let's go ahead and get started. Hi friends, so today I'm going to be teaching you fish pose, and just so that you're familiar, if you're not familiar with the pose name, this is what fish pose might look like. And there's also this variation. But today I'm going to be showing you with blocks or with a bolster if you have it. I've grabbed my blocks, I've grabbed my bolsters or pillows if that's what you want to use. If you're using pillows, I recommend grabbing 2 just so that it is a little bit more support than a single pillow. But first one I'm going to show you is supported with blocks or bolsters. So we're going to start with the bolster. Just place it behind you and you're going to sit your sitting bones, your hips to press right up against it. And we're going to slowly lower, maybe roll your back to get onto here first. And then once you're here, just relax your shoulders and your chest onto the mat, allow them to splay open, and then your arms are just going to fall off to the side. If your bolster's a little bit smaller and your head falls back, feel free to grab a block or something else to help support your head. But if you'd like it to hang down a little bit to practice that way, feel free. But for now, we're just going to come here. The arms can stay palms on the ground, flat, or palms can come up, depending on where you're at with your practice, depending on where you're at with your day, or what your body feels like practicing today. And then your knees can stay bent if that feels good. A lot of this is just in the upper back, upper chest opening. But if you'd like to, feel free to straighten out your legs. You do feel a little bit of a difference there. And then feel free to adjust, so bring your hips so that they are flush up against this. Try to unite or bring your shoulder blades to touch back behind you. And then we can stay here focusing on the breathing. Maybe every exhale, you notice that your chest is opening up a little bit more. Or every inhale, as you fill it with air, you feel it stretching and opening. And then to come out of it, place your palms onto the ground, bend your knees, bring your head towards your chin so that it's not dangling back on its own, and then slowly lift your head and then roll yourself up. So that is option 1. I'm going to move those over. Option 2, we're going to grab the blocks. So we're going to need 2 blocks for this. The height of the blocks is really going to depend on where you are today in your practice, wherever. So feel free to play around with a few of these variations. But first we're going to start off with a block on its lowest height, on its widest height, so that it's vertical towards you. Feel free to also have it horizontal like this, but maybe see what works best. And then this block is going to come up just a few inches behind it. We're going to need to adjust anyway, so we can just adjust it when we get there as well. Feel free to keep your knees bent as we start to go in this. If it feels a little bit more comfortable starting from a straight leg position, this version, I find it's a little bit easier. We're just going to come down onto our elbows very gently and then adjust this block so that it's hitting maybe the middle of your back and then landing right where the bottom of your shoulder blades is. If the long side is way too long for that, feel free to move it horizontally and allow that to come up like that. And then this back block, just try to have it in line so that your head can gently rest on it. I'm gonna move mine vertically because I think I like my block a little bit better. That way it supports a little bit more of my back. But find that sweet spot. It shouldn't dig in too much to your vertebrae or your spine. Your back and your back muscles should be supporting it more, especially as we start to let the chest open up. Place your palms on the ground. So this is a supported variation with blocks. From here, you can also push into the elbows to see if you can lift your chest a little bit more. This is a very accessible place to come into this fish pose because you don't have to come or get up all the way from the ground. You're starting from here. And if you feel the want to push into your elbows to lift your chest up a little bit more, squeeze your shoulder blades back together, and then come down. Another option, if this is too little for you, if this isn't enough stretching, or if you want a little bit more, is to bring the block onto the back block, the head block, to its lowest position, to its lowest height. Bring your head to rest on it that way. Once again, feel free to bring the forearms and elbows onto the earth to keep this one a little bit active. But if you'd like to keep this one restorative, feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. Keep breathing, keep tuning into your body, but mostly just allow your body to open up. Another variation or modification in this block one is to remove the back block for the head and allow the crown of the head or the back of the head to rest on the ground. It's a little bit of a deeper situation here. Notice how that feels. Once again, option to press your elbows, your forearms, and your palms into the ground. Keep them close and tucked into your torso. And then if you're feeling it, option to lift the chest and then gently bring it back down. But here you're putting most of your weight onto your hips and your elbows, not onto your head. And then slowly we can bring this block back if you need help getting up. So that's number 2 with blocks. I'm going to show you a little bit of a deeper variation with the blocks that you can change. So if you want to bring both blocks together onto their medium height, once again, start to lean back into it. Try to line that up with your middle upper back. And so that the top of it is coming almost down to where the shoulders end. And if you like the 2 blocks, but this is too deep for your head to go back, feel free to bring a bolster here. If your hips lift, feel free to let them do that. Eventually, you might get to having your hips seated. I mean, you can even tell this one's a little bit too deeper for me, but this is a different variation or modification if you already have a naturally open chest and you're looking to open it a little bit more. And move everything off to the side. Let's say you don't have any blocks, any props, but you still want to do this. There are ways. And this is how I went about it most of my time. So we're going to bend the knees, come down onto the elbows, and then very slowly come down all the way onto the back. Feel free to keep your knees bent or extend them straight out. Once again, I like them straight out. They help me get a little bit more length in my spine. And what we're going to do is bring the hands underneath the glutes. That's step 1. Step 2 we're actually going to lift our top torso to bring our elbows onto the ground. And you can already maybe start to notice that your chest is naturally lifting. Try to draw your elbows closer to one another, and you might naturally feel your shoulder blades start to get together, your chest might start to open up a little bit. Push into your elbows and forearms and hands here. And then from here, feel free to stay here. You don't have to reach your head back. But if you'd like to, very gently bring it back. If you have a towel or something at home that you want to practice this one with, even grab a block. It's a different variation, but it's very similar. Hands underneath the glutes, elbows to the ground. Try to bring your elbows to touch back behind you and lift your chest. And then you can see the block is here to help support me. And you're actively drawing your elbows towards one another to try to push your chest up. And try to take deep, long breaths here. Once you're ready, feel free to wiggle your elbows out to the side and very gently return to a lying down supine position. To get up from here, bend your knees and roll off to one side and push yourself up. I hope this helps. These are some of the variations that I've learned that I've used throughout the last few years to help me get a little bit of a deeper fish pose. Now it's a pose that I don't hate as much because I've learned the more restorative ways where it actually feels good to open up the chest. And if you're someone who does not have the chest open, who struggles with a tight chest, tight shoulders, this one might not come as easy for you. So feel free to give those first 2 ones a try. Get into the third one with the hands underneath the glutes if you're feeling it, if you're feeling strong enough for it, open enough for it. But remember, most importantly, listen to your body, notice where your body's at, and don't try to push it farther than it can go. I hope this video was helpful. I hope this tutorial or tips were helpful for your next fish pose. I'd love to see how they turned out. Feel free to tag me on Instagram. I'd love to come and see how your yoga practice is going, how it's progressing. Let me know in the comments how it went for you. Give this video a thumbs up if it helped, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay updated with all new yoga videos and yoga classes. Thanks again, everyone. I'll see you next time.